Hey y'all, let's look at arithmetic sequences and the explicit formula. There's two formulas with sequences, and there's explicit and recursive, and we're looking at the explicit one today. So here's the formula itself. You probably have it on a formula sheet or in your notes or both from class. So let's look at the little parts and then we'll jump into the problem. So a sub n means any term that you plug into the sequence. So n is just the number of the term. It sounds kind of funny to say a sub n. It just means it's a little n. Equals a sub 1. We've changed the n to a 1. So that means the first number in the sequence, the first term. So a sub 1 here is negative 16. So I'm going to write that down. A sub 1 is negative 16. Because this is the first one. Whoops. Plus n minus 1. That's going to not change. That will be in the sequence every time as you're writing it. And then d. D is the difference. And so d means what's the difference between the terms here? What's happening from one term to the next? And it's going to be the same every time because it's a sequence, and that's part of the definition of a sequence. So what you're going to do is you're going to subtract to find that. So you'll subtract the second term minus the first term. But when I see all those negatives, I don't like that. And if I feel like I'm bad at math, then I'm going to try to avoid negatives. Can't always do it, but if I can, then I'm going to. So I'm going to find one where there's not negatives, and I'm going to subtract, but I always have to start with the one that's farther down the line first. So that means I would take the 8 and subtract the term in front of it, so 0. So that means the difference is 8, because 8 minus 0 is 8. But let's say that you're like, oh no, I just need to do the same thing every single time. That's fine. You'll get the same answer. So let's do the second term minus the first term. So the second term is negative 8 minus the first term is negative 16. And so, there's those negatives. Your calculator will handle it fine. You may or may not even have to put in the parentheses. You'll just have to kind of test it and see. But negative 8 plus 16, that's 16 minus 8, so that's positive 8. Or you might have thought, well, minus a negative, that's positive. And so 16 minus 8 is still 8. So you can see the difference is still 8. It doesn't matter how you did it. Let me grab my eraser that I dropped. So the difference is 8. Alright, so let's take a look at that and see if we can write our formula. So I'm going to copy this down. So a sub n equals the first term. So we have that, negative 16, plus n minus 1 times the difference. So n minus 1 times the difference. But we know the difference. The difference is 8. So I'm going to substitute that d with an 8. Now that looks weird to me. If I'm not really good at math, I'm thinking, oh, that's weird stuff right there. What's going on? All that is the distributive property. So that is just 8 times n minus 1. And you're used to seeing it like this. It's just written backwards, looks funny. You can always do it this way, and you're going to be fine. So 8 times n is 8n. 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. Okay? So you can distribute it up here. It's just going to look backwards and feel kind of weird, but it's good either way. You're going to get the same answer either way. So 8n minus 8 is what I get here. Now let's bring down the negative 16, bring down the plus sign. Now you're just combining like terms. So I've got a number, and then a term with a letter in it, and then another number. So, these are my like terms. So negative 16 minus 8, that's negative 24. And then 8n is the other term that I didn't have anything to combine with. And so I just need to make sure it's in this format with the a sub n in front. So I'm just going to write that down in front. And my equal sign. Let's see if I can get those to show up a little bit better. And I'm done. It's okay that it's in this order. This is the order you want it to be in. And that's it.